Trade deadline. Let's do it. We have a general game plan for this. It just depends on the availability of some players and what we can look to do as the Bruins looking to sell Igor Shesterkin immediately after signing him. Goalie-wise, there's nothing to do. Defensively, we're not allowed to trade Yossi or Gostisbehere, so that is what it is. There's really nobody to trade here then based off of who's currently playing and how that's looking. Right wing side, Evangelista is pissed at me. He's been decent. If we were looking at trading Evangelista, we'd have to look at trading Pinto as well. Olison's been all right. Kamel's been all right. Simon Knack hasn't been awful in the games he's gotten so far. And I don't think, outside of maybe shopping Reed Schaefer, who hasn't been amazing, I don't think we're looking at taking away many pieces from this roster. You can maybe argue a Fanasayev, who hasn't been particularly amazing, especially with how much money he's making right now. I mean, we could move him out for a 5th-round pick. It would shed some cap. I don't know. It'd probably be Svechkov. Maybe Kondoleek. Yeah, given how much money Afanasayev's making, he's replacement level. He was much, much better last year. I think we could move Igor out. Yeah, we'll just take a... Well, actually, we'll take the 7th rounder next year because that's one less pick I'd have to worry about getting rid of. So we're going to move Igor out to Vegas. It sheds some cap. Outside of that now, it's holy hell, we have all these 2nd-round picks, and we have to start looking at where we could improve. If we were to just outright offer like this Capitals 2nd, because obviously Washington's a good team this year. Krona, Jimmy Huntington in the 5th. David Savard, Esa Lindell. Anze Kopitar. Anze Kopitar and a 5th next year for a 2nd-round pick from Washington. Kopi, however, is down to depth forward. Has barely played for them this year. But man, talk about a veteran presence that could really step up. But yeah, he's not what he used to be. He's not what he used to be. Let's go look at other teams' trade blocks. And it's the first time we've had the ability to do this. And we're going to look for players. Malkin's a 3rd liner at this point. No Lachari. Crosby's down to depth forward at this stage. So if Crosby's down to depth forward, then maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Patrick Kane's a depth forward at this stage. Chandler Stevenson has been awful. Proper 2nd liner. He has been terrible for Vegas this year. And then Marcus Pettersson is... So Vegas in general has just been bad. But that means we could probably get like Stevenson, Pettersson for dirt cheap. You got Stevenson as a center left wing 2nd liner. And then you have Pettersson as a lefty top 4. Interesting. All right, who else do we got that's out there for options to like really improve this team? Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel is out there. Now, obviously, I haven't looked at contracts either. I'm just trying to get names onto a list. It is left wing, right wing, 2nd liner for Jake Gensel. Radko Gudas is a top 6 defenseman. Arizona not moving anybody too crazy. Boston not moving anybody too crazy. I don't know if they moved Charlie Coyle. Calgary with old Jonathan Huberdeau. And that big contract, they're also looking to move Mangiapane and Kevin Hayes. Wow. Kadri is a third liner now. Chicago looking to move Esa Lindell as a left defenseman. Obviously, there's no way he has tip jar. Colorado, nobody big. Columbus, nobody big. Kopitar, again, is a depth forward now. Adrian Kempe. Kempe is on that list as a second liner. Montreal moving like Josh Anderson. Okay. So there are wingers we can certainly get. Centers we can certainly get. Kevin Hayes as a center could work for the reason that Macklin can be played on the third line. So Kevin Hayes, theoretically from Calgary, or Chandler Stevenson. We could get anybody in any forward position. There weren't any right defensemen to get, but for left defensemen, Pettersson and Lindell, it's not as if our other boys deserve to get scratched. They've actually been pretty good. That is the big question at this stage, is do we even go out and trade for people? But given the fact we have all these extra seconds, like, we have to move them. We're only allowed 2 second-round picks. So let's see. We've done our recon here. Let's take a look at what contract is easy enough to salvage here. Tight spot with the one lonely bit. Thank you for it. Gensel, 7-5 expiring contract for Jake Gensel. And man, you have Marchand, Jake Gensel on the top line. That's pretty good. Calgary looking to move Huberdeau. 6 years left at 10.8. I don't think I can take that contract. Mangiapane, 4 years left at 5.6. Chicago looking to move Esa Lindell. He would be a rental. Lindell would be a rental that could fit. What about Kempe in Los Angeles? Los Angeles has taken Kempe off of their trade block. Vegas. Pettersson's still there. But Chandler Stevenson is not. They've taken Stevenson off the list. Pettersson's on an expiring deal. Also with Calgary, was Kevin Hayes still there? He is, and he's on an expiring deal. Okay. So obviously we could go back now and see, oh, have things changed for certain teams with certain players that are available, but we got 4 targets here. We got 4 targets, I would say, for rentals. And I think the top dog has to be Jake Gensel. Has to be. Problem is, they want our first rounder. Holy shit, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Especially if Gensel ends up being a true rental, we can't do it. We can't do it. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. I'm not willing to give up the first rounder in case we miss out. Fuck. The problem is, though, often when you get deadline rentals, they don't want to stay. Kevin Hayes is off the board. Kevin Hayes is now off the board. Lindell in Chicago. would be a second rounder and Vayu. It would be one of the second rounders that we have to get rid of. Vayu is the former first round pick, though. I'm not willing to do that either. In terms of improving the team, it's not looking too good. In all honesty, it's really not looking that good. I think I'm just going to have to trade these picks outright. What about Marcus Pettersson? 2 third-rounders next year, which, yeah, it's not working out in our favor. It's really not. I do love me some Nick Hague, but I haven't used Nick Hague in a franchise mode in a long time. He has been awful. Again, Vegas has just been terrible. All right, we got 2 hours here, and unfortunately, in terms of improving the team on paper, it's not looking great. Let's see really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I pair 3 second rounders together, nobody's interested. What about 2 of them? Huntington and 2 fourths, that's abysmal. Blake Coleman is apparently worth 2 seconds. David Perron and a 4th. David Perron wouldn't be that bad. Or Blake Wheeler. Is David Perron worth 2 seconds? At this stage. Nope, he's down to depth forward. I have to move these picks and everyone's trying to screw me over, man. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right, we have to make a move. We can't waste time. Chris Tanev at a 4th next year. Essa Lindell for one of those seconds is probably the trade. Because we know Essa Lindell's decent. We're going to deal this second round pick to Chicago for Essa Lindell. We got 2 more we got to get rid of. We'll go with the ones that are worth the least. Tanev and a 4th. That's a 4th next year. 3rd round pick next year in Dmitry Samorukov. Blake Lizotte, Artur Akhimov. Honestly, Samorukov and the 3rd next year. It sucks to lose a second like that, but it's got to happen. Again, I cannot keep these seconds. If I have them at the draft, it will count as trading down. They have to go right now. And the Colorado one will leave us with 7 picks in 2026, which is the most that we're allowed. Chris Tanev might be the acquisition here. Could be Kopitar as a veteran presence. Could be Akhimov. Fourth rounder for Tanev or Kopitar. I think we'll get the veteran in Kopitar because he doesn't necessarily have to be played. It's a lot to give up for him, but let's do it. So with that, I am draft compliant based upon the rules of this series. I certainly have not had trades go my way. This calendar year has been pretty rough. Sword got moved down. That's fine. I don't think he got claimed on waivers or anything. Yeah, we can call him back up if need be. As long as the game doesn't make me lose somebody on waivers. We don't have too much time to do much else. We know Lindell will probably take... He has been so fucking bad. He has been so goddamn bad for Chicago. Can I flip him for anything? Nope, nobody wants him. We gotta hope he turns it around for us. We gotta hope. It's true, he has been on a very bad team. It's the same thing as some of the Vegas players. Let's take a quick look around the league. Just to see, last second, is there anybody that makes sense for us to try and get here? I mean, I know Sid's out there as a depth forward as well. Yeah, that's not going to happen for what they're looking for, though. For a fucking depth forward, unless it's a morale issue. But it shouldn't be. I mean, Vegas, again, there's a couple of players. What about Nick Hague? He's been real bad on Vegas. That third round pick could be more valuable than what Nick could provide. I do love me some Nick Hague, though. He is one of my favorite players, but Jake Gensel's still out there. And now they want even more than before, which, again, I'm not willing to give up our first rounder this year. I'm just not. Huberdeau and Mangiapane, again, still have wicked contracts. Definitely not giving up what they want for Huberdeau. What about Mangiapane? Absolutely not. I think we're done. I think our day is done. We had to wheel and deal. I would say our team is probably better on paper, but does better on paper mean anything? We've been performing at a better level since getting rid of better players. But we trade a second for Kopitar and a fifth. A second for a third round pick and Dmitry Samorukov, because again, the seconds had to go. We get Esa Lindell for a second. Kevin Hayes ended up in Minnesota. Kempe to Vancouver for just a second. Chandler Stevenson went for Sandin Pellikka in a second. Linus Allmark got a first. Malkin to Washington. Patrick Kane's an Oiler. Rasmus Anderson to Montreal. Lucas Reichel for Andrew Kopp and other assets. Kenzie Weegar to Carolina. The Kings get a first round pick from Matt Zuccarello and a little bit more. It's a pretty busy deadline across the league. I didn't even notice Drew Doughty was a part of that trade, but yeah, it was listed as a blockbuster. Oh shit, that's a huge return for Calgary. Oh my god. Antti Sarela on waivers. Honestly, he would have to be played on the fourth line. He does have 17 points in 51 games, but I don't like the idea that I have to play him. So I'm going to say no. So what do we look like? After all of that, what do we look like? So we know that Lindell has to play. Samorukov can be sent down. He clears waivers. Lozon can be sent down for the moment so we can see the bigger picture. So if we take a look, it is probably Yossi and Ghost. Frank, I knew someone was going to do the reject promotion, which is okay. It just means someone ends up being a healthy scratch. That shouldn't be. So Yossi, Ghost, Olsen, Levshunov. And then we had Sword and Prokop. Lindell has to replace Sword or Olsen, both of whom have been okay. Honestly, it's going to be Anton Olsen. But that means Olsen ends up being a healthy scratch and replaced by Lindell. And we'll see how that works out for us. So Lindell will end up with Gostisbehere on the second pairing. In terms of the forwards, Evangelista, Olsen, who's currently suspended. So Evangelista, Kamel, Doer, and Knack. Marchand, LaRue, Schaefer, Marcel. Unless we elect to put Schaefer back on the fourth line, which I would not hate. Probably have to be someone called up. Celebrini, Pinto, Kopitar. You can decide to play Kopitar on the fourth line. Should we please? So we could go probably with Svechkov getting another chance. We have a lot of centers in the AHL right now. We'll go best lines in the AHL, and then NHL wise, Yossi Lashunov. Olsen out for Graham Sword. And hopefully getting Essa Lindell hasn't made this team worse. Forwards. Olsen has to be out for Knack. It's going to be the right side. Center-wise, it's probably going to look like that. Left wing is going to look like that. It's a weird team. It is a very, very weird team. This has already taken a lot of different twists and turns, that's for sure. Again, we'll have Alex Killorn back, too, pretty soon, in fact. And that'll help out the right side a lot. But did we make the wrong moves? Final game without Olesen. Jasper Weatherby concussed in the AHL. We beat the Sharks 6-2. Promising. We got to win a lot of games in March. So Olesen is back. We'll have him replace Knack. Make that swap, and then Walker Duehr will sit for Knack. Works for me. Edmonton, very good team. White hot. As Killorn is healthy, and Edmonton beats us again. I don't think we've beaten them all season long. So we will have the ability to send Walker Duehr down. He clears waivers, no surprise. Let's go best lines again, now that we finally get Alex Killorn back from injury. He has been out for a very long time. So Marcel, Kopitar. Kamel. Olesen's back. Don't forget reject a motion. I didn't. That's why Olsen's still there. Otherwise, he'd be playing in the AHL right now. That's probably what it is. LaRue, Pinto, Olsen stays. Schaefer, Svechkov, Killorn. Not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, I wish I could send down Olsen. Actually, if Killorn... Never mind. There's a better move here. Put Killorn over here. Put Kamel over there. Get Simon Knack on the fourth line instead of Marcel. That way, Killorn, Svechkov, Kamel. That's a better move. And we can send down Marcel, no problem. Ghostbuster, what's going on? I'm doing good. How are you? Send down Marcel. Go best lines in the AHL. Let's see what we can do here. Got to keep winning games. 2 points out, but 2 games at hand for the Blues. Carolina. Shootout loss, but at least we got a point. Winnipeg. Shootout loss, but at least we got a point. Los Angeles. 6-3 win. 2 points back. Blues still have 2 games at hand. This is going to be close. Anaheim. Big win. Big win. 2 games at hand for the Blues, but we're even in points to accomplish our goal for the season. Columbus, hot team, decent record. We win 3-2. Come on. Blues now, it's just a game in hand, even in points. Columbus again. We win again. One point back of St. Louis, 12 games to go. Colorado, very good team. Not a great record lately. We lose in regulation. And to round out March, San Jose, we lose back-to-back games in regulation. That's tough. That's real tough. As we're now 5 points out. Holy crap. The Jets out of nowhere, 5 points up on us, as are the Blues with 10 games to go. I think we're about to end up with our... AJ, don't say fuck. You're the one who proposed this goal. Don't act like you're upset. Artem Lashunov's been amazing this year, by the way. Essa, how have you done? Not great. Not great. I'm going to try to put Essa Lindell through waivers. I'm going to try to put Essa Lindell through waivers just to get rid of him. Gotta hope like hell it works. We wasted a second round pick for nothing, but we couldn't use it anyway. Lindell gets claimed by Minnesota. He had to go. He wasn't cutting it. That'll get Olsen back in because we can't send him down. We'll send Gulyayev back down. Anton Olsen will get back into the lineup. Lindell wasn't cutting it at all. He had to go. Absolutely had to go. Simon Knack. It's actually been really solid. Kamel's still been hit or miss. Oleson's been pretty good. How has Killorn done? He hasn't been great, but he's been serviceable. I don't want to lose Reed Schaefer for nothing, but he's been so bad. Kopitar. 3 points in 10 games. He's at least been serviceable. Svechkov as well has been serviceable, but not amazing. Okay. All right, so if we look at this, to fill out this team, we'll have Mac, Pinto, or vice versa. Svechkov and Kopitar have been okay, but not amazing. Honestly, Svechkov, 20 points in 47 games. He is staying on that third line. He's earned it. Kopitar. Kopitar plays a full season for us. On the fourth line, he's putting up at least 20 points. I think Kopitar stays too. I think he does. I was really tempted to send him down, but... So best lines. Lozon is out for Graham Sword. Anton Olsen is back in and will be with Goss to spare. I hate having Kamel on the fourth line because he's a really bad fit there, but the alternative is him or Olason, and Olason's been pretty good. So get Reed Schaefer back on the fourth line. In fairness, yeah, we can get Kamel up to the third. Knack hasn't been that bad. 18 and 18 for LaRue with a shitload of penalty minutes. 16 points. I got to do the math here really quickly. Warrior redeems a sit-down suspension. That's good. Good. Couldn't have done that before I had it basically all figured out. You got to wait until the end and be a dick. Thank you. Appreciate it. You could have done that 20 minutes ago, but do it now. Waste more time. As someone who's complained about people wasting time, you're now wasting time. Good job. Good job. The math really quickly on LaRue. It's 36 points in 72 games. 36 points in 72 games. 29 points for Killorn. LaRue is technically on a better point pace than Alex Killorn. Jaredubs with the press box suspension as well. Well done, everybody. You're being real great for people who claim they always want to see a draft. 5-game suspension coming up for somebody else as well. 19 and 23. Pretty much interchangeable. All right. Well, let's see who's getting suspended here. Again, it is 19 eligible players. Suspension number 1 is player number 11, which is Anze Kopitar. So we got to call up a center. Kopitar will be suspended for 1 game. Give that game to Cody Glass. Why not? So Kopitar is out for 1 game. And we spin the second time. Player number 1, Brad Marchand. 5-game suspension. That might be the death knell to lose Brad Marchand for the next 5 games. That might be the death knell for the season. We can call up a center or a winger. And to be honest, it's going to be Callum Ritchie. We're going to give Callum Ritchie the chance. Best lines there. And Jared Ubbs with the primer. Well, it makes up for it a little bit, I suppose. So Callum Ritchie is in, Marchand out for Macklin. And we'll run Callum on the 3rd line. There we go. All right, so Kopitar is out until after the Vancouver game. Righteous Heathen. Up to 13 months again. I know my schedule's not great for everyone, but thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Jared Ubbs with another press box suspension. Cool. All right. I am aware. 5 more games. Number 1 again. So Macklin's also out for 5 games. Neat. That's not great. That's not great at all. Marcel, welcome back to the team, if I can. We'll send down Lozon. Yep, we are fucked. We just lost 2 of our best players. We are fucked. So shout out to Marcel. And we'll bump up everyone else around him. Okay. So, Kopitar is back after Vancouver. 2, 3, 4, 5. And those 2 are back after the Calgary game. Shockingly, we don't play the Blues again. So, all right, Vancouver. No Anze Kopitar for this one. We lose 3-1. Fuck. Yeah, we're going to end up with a Louis Eriksson-esque contract here. So Kopitar is back in. We'll keep Callum Ritchie on the 3rd line. Philadelphia the next day. We win 3-2. 4 points back, 8 games to go. We have to finish in 4th place or better. The Islanders, 4-1 win. Matthias Ekholm is on waivers. He is just an old veteran at this point, but I'll claim him. I have the cap space. 4 points back, 7 games to go. New Jersey Devils. We lose in a shootout, at least it's a point. And Calgary, we win 4-3. The suspensions for the moment are up. But unfortunately, the opposition around us continue to also win games. Might be too little too late. The defense is okay. Honestly, we'll just call up former Pred Ekholm as the depth option. And then forward-wise, can send Marcel back down, can send Callum Ritchie and Cody Glass back down. Just have to go outright best lines again. It'll be the fastest for us. Gotta get Killorn on the right. Get Knack over there. Swap with Schaefer. There we go. Defensively, get Ekholm out for Graham Sword. Best lines again in the AHL. San Jose. We're 3 points out with 5 games to go. The Sharks, we lose. That's it. We're 6 points out with 4 games to go. We're going to fail this. Colorado, we win 6-5. We do have a game coming up against the Jets. We have to win out and hope that the Jets lose. Chicago's absolutely dreadful this year. And we win 2-1. If the Jets lose their next game and we win out, we'll do it. But we need the Jets to lose game 81, and we have to win our last 2 games. All we can do is win our last 2 games and hope that it's enough. Arizona, 38 wins on the season. They've won 7 of their last 10. It is true, tiebreaker could be there. We have to win this game, though. First period, 1-0 Coyotes. Devon Taves on the power play. Second period, 2-1 Josh Doan, but Simon Knack. Clayton Keller makes it 3-1. We're going to need help. And it's not looking good. Power play for the Oats. Mac gets one back. Valimaki makes it 4-2. Fucking A, Saros. Not the game. Yep, Valimaki, 2 goals. 5-2 win for the Coyotes. Fuck. And that's it. The Jets have done it. We fail our goal for the season again. It came down to the wire. And we lost to the Jets anyway. 38, 33, and 11. We just didn't have enough in the tank. Lord knows the suspensions didn't help. Having to move certain players before the season started didn't help. We did the best we could, though. We did the best we could. It was an improvement. It was an improvement, but yeah, ultimately at the end, UC Saros couldn't get it done, and that's a pretty decent point swing. Vast majority of people voted yes, 78%. And yeah, we're going to have to sign a brutal, brutal contract this upcoming offseason. That certainly does not help us. UC Saros played in every single game because, again, goalie fatigue doesn't exist. He had solid numbers, but not amazing numbers. Yuko came on in relief 6 times. Defensively, Roman Yossi was fantastic. Our captain tried his damnedest. Artem Lashunov was very solid. Again, I don't ask for everyone to be an amazing point producer, but I do ask for plus minuses to not be in the toilet. He was very, very good. Anton Olsen was very, very good. Especially compared to... fuck, we shouldn't have gone for Lindell, but what choice did we have? Shane Gostisbehere was very solid. An improvement upon his first season. Graham Sword. Never would have guessed Graham Sword would earn himself 38 games at the NHL level, but he did deserve it. And Luke Prokop as well also proved to be worthy as an NHLer. Ended up with 50 games this year. So, not bad. Offensively, Brad Marchand, just under a point per game player. He was what we needed, but it just wasn't enough. Macklin, 45 points. It's not bad. The problem is we were asking a 19-year-old player to be the leadership kind of guy on this team, and he's just not there yet. Luke Evangelista, another 50-point season. Not bad at all. Zach LaRue, great improvement on points, but holy shit, does he take a lot of penalties, man. He takes a lot of penalties. Shane Pinto, our 4-star RFA signing. I don't know if he's long for this team. He's more of a third-line center as opposed to a second line based on those point totals. I'm not a big fan. Oscar Olesen, 36 points, not bad. He keeps getting better. Alex Killorn comes back and does okay. I can't imagine. I'll try to keep him around still. Svechkov did pretty well in his games played. You could argue he should have played the full season. Joachim Kamel dropped my controller. Great. I've had this controller less than a month. Let's see if it's broken. You never know with these fucking Microsoft controllers. They break so fucking easily. Oh, from what I can tell, We are okay. So that's good. But yeah, Kamel did okay. We'll see what his future is with this team. Reed Schaefer did not have a good season. He did not. He will probably get one more chance, maybe. But yeah, he did not have a very good season. Kopi was fucking phenomenal, fantastic. I mean, he was great. Judging by what we thought we'd get from him. Simon Knack was awesome. So say hello to maybe a fourth liner next season. Dang. And then AHL-wise, obviously, I would expect that team to be heading towards the playoffs. They very much are, and we'll probably have a showdown with Rockford if they can get past Chicago. So I wouldn't dare buy an more than typical expensive Xbox controller with how they break. No thanks. No thanks. So in regards to dud of the season, I gotta be honest. I don't think we have one, because in terms of the duds, I would have gotten rid of them already. You know. In terms of the stud, I mean, for forward, you would have been talking about Roman Josi, but he's already X-factored out. You could make an argument someone like Sword or Prokop, as Dylan Tracy with the gifted sub. Thank you for that. You know, if you were talking about a stud, you would be talking about someone like Prokop or Sword. But it's not as if they were amazing. It's just they did so much better than expected. So I guess it just depends on how you view it. Simon Knack as well was awesome. Olesen did pretty well. Again, Evangelista did what was expected of him, as did LaRue. You could honestly roll with Reed Schaefer as a dud candidate. I don't know if Pinto was necessarily a dud. I mean, we gave up a second-round pick via offer sheet to get him. I wouldn't say he was abhorrent. It's just he wasn't amazing. And I genuinely think like that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think there's anyone who was particularly garbage, but I don't think there was anyone who was particularly great either. So I do like the idea of this concept. But they're clearly, you know, it's you'd have to reach a little bit. I think, yes, you can make the argument that Shane Pinto could be in the dud category. Was he worse than Reed Schaefer? You could say because of the role he was in, maybe. But Reed Schaefer had a bad season. But he was a fourth liner for most of it. So was it really that bad? You know, if you say, well, for a second liner, Pinto was bad. For a fourth liner, Schaefer wasn't actually that bad. You know, he played eight, almost 9 minutes a game. Pinto was up to 20, so I don't know. There's no one where I'm just like, yeah, that's the guy this time out, right? It worked so well in season 1. Nobody really exploded in the AHL. We'll see if there's an award winner. We'll come back after the award season is done. Gage Alexander didn't end up keeping his starting job. Yeah, I mean, someone like Gage Alexander might be in the conversation for like stud of the season. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like to me like there's this dead set like, yes, this guy was unequivocally trash. And that's probably because of the nature of what we had to do this season, where we got rid of the guys who were unequivocally trash. Essa Lindell, a lot of our defensemen. So we can reconsider, but it's a tough call. And that is this season done and dusted. The playoffs at the NHL level were St. Louis, Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vancouver, Seattle, San Jose. Got the Rangers, Devils, Caps, Islanders, Leafs, Habs, and the one blocked by the webcam is Florida and Carolina. So we will see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup. Cliffhanger? Maybe? Maybe a cliffhanger? Maybe?